Good afternoon, boys and girls. So earlier this morning, I mentioned that I was going to read a book about a shark named Clark. So the title of the book I'm going to read today for story time is Clark the Shark, written by Bruce Hale, illustrated by Guy Francis. What do you notice on the front cover of this book? I see a shark wearing a t-shirt with stripes, hey, like me. And he's sitting at a desk with a pencil in his, I guess, bin. And he has some paper. He looks like he might be at school. I wonder if this story takes place at school. Well, let's start reading and find out. All right. Clark the Shark. Okay. In all the wide blue seas, in all the wide blue world, the top school for fish was Theodore Roosterfish Elementary. And all of the fish at Theodore Roosterfish, the biggest and the strongest was Clark the Shark. Clark loved school and he loved his teacher, Mrs. Inky Dink. He loved to play upsy-downsy and spina-majig with his friends. Clark loved his life. So it looks like Clark is at school. That looks like it's his teacher, Mrs. Inky Dink, and those are his friends. School is awesome, shouted Clark the Shark. Less shouting, more reading, said Mrs. Inky Dink. Lunchtime is sweet, yelled Clark the Shark. Munch your own lunch, said his best friend, Joey Mackerel. Recess rocks, bellowed Clark the Shark. You are playing rough, Clark, cried the other kids. Yes, Clark loved his life with all of his sharky heart, but he loved everything way too much. He was too loud. He was too wild. He was just too much shark for the other fish to handle. After a while, no one would play with Clark. No one ate lunch with him. No one sat with him at circle time. Even his best friend Joey Mackerel said, "Cool your jets, Clark. You're making me crazy." How do you think Clark is feeling right now? One day, Clark asked Mrs. Inky Dink, "What's wrong with everyone?" Mrs. Inky Dink patted his fin. "Clark, sometimes you play too hard. You munch too hard. And gosh, you even help too hard." "But life is so exciting," said Clark. There's a time and place for everything, said Mrs. Inky Dink, and sometimes the rule is stay cool. What do you think it means to stay cool? At recess, Clark tried to stay cool, but he pushed the swing with too much zing. Sorry, said Clark. I forgot. Yikes, cried Joey Mackerel. At lunch, Clark tried to stay cool, but everything smelled so good that he munched a bunch of lunches. Sorry, said Clark. I forgot. We're starving, said his friends. Uh-oh, it looks like Clark has a problem. In class, Clark tried to stay cool, but a good book got him all shook up. Now, Clark, said Mrs. Inky Dink, this isn't the time or the place. Tell me, what's the rule? Stay cool, said Clark. Hey, that rhymes, he cried. Then Clark got a big idea in his sharky head. Maybe if I make a rhyme, I'll remember every time, he thought. The next day, he put his plan to work. So it sounds like Clark might have found a solution to his problem. In class, when lessons got exciting, Clark wanted to bounce up out of his seat. Instead, he told himself, when teacher's talking, don't go walking. What two words rhyme there? Talking, walking. Those two words rhyme. And what do you know? It worked. Attaboy, Clark, said Mrs. Inky Dink. Clark smiled. Lessons are fun. At lunch, everything smelled so yummy. When Clark wanted to eat and never stop, he told himself, only munch your own lunch. What two words rhyme there? Munch, lunch. Those two words rhyme. And it worked again. Way to go, Clark, said his friends. Clark grinned. Lunch is fun. At playtime, Clark told himself, easy does it, that's the way. Then my friends will let me play. What two words rhyme? Way, play. And playtime was fun. Once more, Clark loved his life. But then a shadow fell across the playground. A ginormous shadow with tentacles galore. It's a new kid and he looks scary, cried Joey Mackerel. Swim for your lives! The squid squashed the slide and it snapped off the swings. Oops, my bad, said the new kid. said Clark. "He just wants to play. Let's find a way." And he swam at the new kid with all his might. Clark played harder than he ever had before. Upsy downsy and spin-a-majig. Why, he even made up a new game. Tell-wump-a-lumpus. "Wow, that was fun," said the new kid breathlessly. And he settled down. "If you want to come to school, you've got to stay cool," said Clark. It looks like Clark helped the new kid out. That was very kind of him. "That's right, Clark," said Mrs. Inky Dink. "And thanks for taking care of our new classmate, Sid the Squid." "Hooray for Clark the Shark!" everyone cheered. That night, Clark's mother asked, "What did you learn at school, dear?" "There's a time and a place for everything," Clark said. "Sometimes you stay cool." But sometimes a shark's gotta do what a shark's gotta do. The end. So, something I want you to think about, and you can answer these questions with whoever you're at home with, is what was the problem in this story? And how was the problem solved? And what lesson did Clark the Shark learn at the end of the story? Well, I hope you all enjoyed story time today. I will talk to you all soon. I miss you and I love you. Bye.